Welcome on the mic. This is your host, Micah Cannon. This is the first video in about 3 days. But anyways, today in this video, I'm going to be covering a whole bunch of sports topics that have been happening today, because today is a huge day of sports, of course, with the NFL coming back and with a lot of other big news that I'm not going to spoil for at the beginning. However, before we get to the video, one order of business, please, it would mean a lot if you could just like and subscribe. A lot of people that are watching these videos are not subscribed, man. Y'all have to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. It only benefits me. Please subscribe. And that's pretty much all I have for you. We do have another website. Follow me on Instagram. Website is onthemiclive.weebly.com. It will be appearing across this whole screen right here. And then, of course, the Instagram, my main, Real Micah Cannon, and my podcast Instagram, on the mic podcast underscore. All that will be right here on the screen. But anyhow, let's get straight to this video. First order of business. Today, the Cubs pitcher pitched a no-hitter today in a 12-0 Cubs win. Just in case I know a lot of you probably don't know about baseball, but pitching a no-hitter is very hard. That means you pitch the ball, and while pitching the ball, nobody got a hit. Like, not one hitter got a hit. That's a really hard thing to do. First no-hitter for the Cubs since 2016. So I thought I'd start with that fact. I was in a bit of a bad mood because my Falcons lost to the Seahawks, which was absolutely ridiculous. I hated that a lot. But yeah, things happen. I think the Falcons look pretty good. I like their offense. I like their I think the defense definitely took a step forward this year. I believe that the corners need to get a lot better. The offense could easily be one of the best units in the NFL. I feel like the early game play calling was a bit messed up, but in terms, like in the late game, we kind of got it together. Matt Ryan did throw a pick at the end of the game, but he's still a decent quarterback. I compare him sort of to Tony Romo, because I feel like that's sort of factual, because he's good, but just not good enough. He's not a winner yet, and that doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. He's one of the better quarterbacks of all time. But yeah, I think the Falcons could be good. The Saints and the Buccaneers, America's game of the week right now. This game is going on as I speak, and it was just a fight between Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore on my screen right in front of me. This game is highly anticipated because the Saints and the Buccaneers both have put together one of the best offenses, and I just now remembered that Gronk is playing today. So is Mike Evans. So this Bucs team, they're looking pretty good. Tom Brady had a rushing touchdown, and speaking of rushing, Cam Newton, a guy who took the place of Tom Brady, he has broken the record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in Patriots history, which is like 64. It's a new era in New Orleans. Cam Newton seems to just have a different mindset this year, and I really like it. I really like his mindset. I think he's focused. I think he's ready to play. I think that he has everything necessary to be a good football team. I really kind of hate it on this team. This is a really, really good football team. This is a good football team that the Patriots have. Cam Newton, I really like him. I like how he did today, but only the season will tell. Another game that went on that interested me was the Washington football team. They came back, scored 27 unanswered points against the Eagles. The Eagles did look really good, though, in the first half. However, letting the Washington football team come back and do that too, that's a straight up disappointment. But yeah, a win for Washington today. So Washington, surprisingly, at this point, they lead the division and they move to 1-0. Of course, the Cowboys play later tonight at 8:30 as usual, and the Giants play on Monday, so they play tomorrow. And then Thursday, you have the Browns and the Bengals. Speaking of Joe Burrow has, I'm not going to say he's taken everything by storm, but dude has one rushing touchdown. I really like the way Joe Burrow is looking. He's going to have his struggles, but I think Joe Burrow most definitely can be one of the better quarterbacks in the league in the next couple years. Moving on to basketball. So the Nuggets, they were down what, like 25? And it looked like that game was over. I looked at it, and at halftime, it was like 67-43. It was something like that. I looked at it, and I was shocked. I was like, man, this is really the end of the road for the Nuggets. Another exit. It's pretty early. But then they just went on storm Jamal Murray put up a great game, man. I love Jamal Murray in the playoffs. He's showing me potential. He's showing me that potentially he could be one of the better spot up shooters, not spot up shooters, but shooting off the dribble in the league. Great point guard, and he's done really good in the playoffs. He's really elevated his game to the next level. Of course, Nikola Jokic is doing his thing. Nikola Jokic is one of the better centers in the league. In my opinion, he's probably the best center in the league. He wouldn't be if Joel Embiid was healthy all the time, but of course he's not. Therefore, that's why I have him top in the league. I think that he's a great center. I think that the Nuggets have a great chance at winning Game 7. Game 7 is going to be a toss-up, man. You have Kawhi Leonard, who won a Game 7 off of a very, very good, but some would say lucky, someone consider lucky bank shot last year in the same second round against the Philadelphia 76ers. Kawhi Leonard is notorious for having very good Game 7s. Kawhi Leonard is real. But I feel like this Denver defense and their offense poses problems to the Clippers defense and their offense. Because when you have a big man who's as skilled as Nikola Jokic is with a point guard who can score the ball, who can shoot the ball, who can seemingly do everything you want a point guard to do on the court, then that creates a very hard offense to stop. And that's props to Nikola Jokic, dude. He's one of the best centers in the league, one of the best players in the league. Dropped 34 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists today. Really excited to see the Game 7. I'll be with you guys on that one. I'll be watching it, and I might just report on it. Leave it in the comments below. Staying in basketball, head coach Mike D'Antoni, after the, of course, crushing loss to Houston, and comments with James Harden saying that they're one piece away, that they just need one more guy. He was crying after the game. Heartbreaking loss for Houston. Feels so bad for them. But Mike D'Antoni has announced that he will be leaving Houston this season. There are at least 2 teams that I think will be pretty good for him. Of course, you have the 76ers, who, of course, are looking for a head coach after the firing of Brett Brown, who had a very bad coaching record. I believe that it was only a 39% winning percentage, which is not good, just in case you didn't know. Not really good for a head coach. The only thing I don't like about Mike D'Antoni is his philosophy. He is an offensive-minded guy, and his offensive style is never really going to win the championship. It never has. He was with those Phoenix teams in the Steve Nash days. No championship. He was with the Houston teams. No championships. Although you can't argue that if Chris Paul hadn't gotten hurt in that 7-game series against the Golden State Warriors, that he would probably have a ring. Mike D'Antoni would probably have a ring. Chris Paul will probably still be there. However, that's not the case. That didn't happen. So, yeah, I like him going. I kind of like him going to Philadelphia, but I don't know how that offensive tempo, how the fast offense, how the shoot-first offense will work among players such as Joel Embiid and, of course, Ben Simmons. And plus, they don't have a James Harden on their team. They don't have a Steve Nash on their team. So, maybe it'll work, maybe it can't. I like the Phoenix idea. I like him going back to Phoenix because he does have one of the best perimeter threats in the league. And man, what's his name? And Devin Booker. Devin Booker, all-star caliber player. Great player. I believe that he can develop into a top shooting guard in the league. Maybe one of the best in this generation. I really, really like that mix. I like Mike D'Antoni, an offensive-minded coach, going in to a team that has needed help for a long time. I really like him going to Phoenix. I want to see what he can do. I'd at least give him 1 year. That's a lot of news for the day. That's really the only big, major news that has happened today. I guess we can talk about Toronto losing the series. Really surprising to me. What was most surprising, however, is the performance of Pascal Siakam throughout all these playoffs. When you're the best player on your team, you just simply have to step up, and I feel like Pascal Siakam did not do that. I feel like it's definitely going to have an impact on how good he is as a player, how people look at him as a player. It's almost a Lamar Jackson effect. It pops up the question that, okay, this guy's a really good regular season player. He's an all-star starter. But can this guy lead my team to the playoffs? And that's the only thing I'd be asking myself. Can this guy lead this team in a playoff series? Can this guy win a game 7? So far, he hasn't answered that question. The answer to the question is no so far. However, he's still young. They're like 24, 25. Give him some time. I believe that eventually he'll develop that killer instinct. Then, of course, you have the Celtics and the Heat. I'm going to talk to you about some predictions for that series. To be honest, I don't even think it's going to be close. I think the Heat are going to pull it out in 5 games max. I believe that the Heat are just such a well-rounded team. Lots of shooters, lots of rebounders. They hustle for the ball. I really, really like the Miami Heat as a team. And I believe that they are championship caliber contenders. Of course, 4 months ago, I would never, ever, ever told you that the Miami Heat would be in contention for a possible championship in the Eastern Conference Finals. But after seeing the way they play and after seeing the way that Jimmy Butler is leading that team in the playoffs, I really, really like their chances. Against the Lakers, it'll be hard because they have a better bench than the Lakers. But we're all here for the fun, man. I think it's going to be a fun series to watch. I really like the matchup. Boston, that has a well-rounded team. Miami with a well-rounded team. Miami's just more gritty, and that's why I see Miami winning the series. Going to the Western Conference Finals, those haven't been set yet, but I think the Nuggets are going to win Game 7, and here's why. That center in the middle, Nikola Jokic, with his impressive versatility when it comes to being outside on the perimeter, even inside on the paint, and even setting up for his teammates and snagging 14 rebounds in one game, that gives every defense, especially the Clippers defense, problems because they don't have any big men that can keep up with the not just the speed, but the skill, the height, and even the brute force and underrated strength of Nikola Jokic. And that's why I believe that the Western Conference Finals are going to include Denver and LA. Now, what's going to happen? I don't know, because Denver has given LA problems on the defensive side this entire season because of that, of course, that monster that can do basically everything you want from a center in the middle. I think that series will end up going to 6 games, but I do see the Lakers pulling it out. And then I see the Lakers going and pulling out the finals. LeBron gets his 4th ring. Anthony Davis gets his first. It's a successful project in LA. And then we move on from there. The NBA draft comes. And then we just see what happens. But anyway, this is it for this short episode of On the Mic Live. I really enjoy doing this, so in the comments, just leave things you want me to do. Whether that's predict your team's record, whether that's predict everybody's record. Give me some things you want to do. We have, of course, a website, onthemiclive.com. onthemiclive.weebly.com. Then we have our Instagram, onthemicpodcast_. My main Instagram, real Micah Cannon. And then we have, of course, everything else. Please like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. It costs you nothing. Thank you for watching this video. All of the information and stuff will be shown on this screen right here. So thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next episode.